Hey guys, my name is V, English content creator for K&D, and this is Hello Stranger. I'm going to be chatting with many interesting foreigners who are living in Thailand to exchange cultures and see what they're all about. My first roommate is Mike Yu. You guys probably have seen him all over your social media like Instagram, TikTok. He's the guy that speaks English really well and is always interviewing interesting people. But today, let's find out all about his Chinese Hong Kong background and see what he's up to. So stay tuned. Hello, stranger.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Mike. So, where are you flying from?
I actually flew from the UK about 2 years ago.
And today, we're roommates, yeah, staying in this hostel. So, I have so many questions to ask you, and I have to say, first of all, like, I'm a fan. I've definitely seen you all the time on my social media, like me and all my friends at university, we love all your content. But yeah, before everything, like, how did you find out about Thailand? Were you a big traveler? Did you go to many countries before?
Actually, I've been to Thailand like 3 times before, actually setting down.
Really?
Yeah.
Like when? How old were you when you came here?
My first time was when I was like 19, actually. Yeah, I was doing like an internship in Malaysia, and I had like 1 week before I flew back to the UK, and I decided to visit Thailand for the first time.
Yeah?
But that time I was not like particularly like hooked like I am now.
Interesting. Where did you go? Where did you go the first time?
I was being a tourist. I was going like Grand Palace, like all the temples, eating pad thai every day.
But the first time you weren't hooked yet?
No, because I was still young and I was still in like university at the time. So I knew like I had things to do back at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So eventually, how many countries did you go to before you ended up like settling down in Thailand?
So like after I graduated, I traveled like the world for 5-6 years. And in that period, I went to around like 40 countries.
40, like 40.
Yeah, I was like really big into traveling at the time, and I just wanted to like learn as much as I can about the world before being stable and, you know, going through like all the adult transitions.
That's crazy. That's low-key like the dream. Like what did your family think about it when you said you wanted to travel?
I have Chinese parents, so they're not happy. You know, for them to be happy, I have to be doctor, engineer,
stable.
Lawyer. Yeah, and like every time I travel, they're like, "What is my son doing?"
Whoa.
Like we moved all the way to the UK for him to like backpack. Like, yeah, they were like in a way like kind of disappointed in me.
At first?
Yeah, because like they're like, "What is my son doing? Like he's working online. You know, he's not in the country we wanted him to be in." Yeah, but over the years, I think they come to like accept like my kind of style of living.
Interesting. Wait, so tell me some like interesting countries or stories like that you've lived in.
I think Kyrgyzstan was an interesting country.
You've lived in Kyrgyzstan?
Yeah, I lived there for a year.
What? What the heck? Can you elaborate?
So it's a country in Central Asia, and at the time I was doing like my e-commerce business, and I wanted to like do like photography as well. So I wanted to like I wanted to stand out essentially, and all like the spots in like America, the UK, you know, the most visited spots were already taken pictures of. They were already like captured, even like Thailand, you know.
True.
And Kyrgyzstan is like a place that no one knows of.
Whoa.
Really, if you compare it to like the world map.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I was like, I want to go there and capture like the beautiful like landscapes, because they have so much going on there. And I decided to like become a photographer there for a year.
What the heck? So how did you find out about Kyrgyzstan? Like, did you discover it, or did you just pick it because it had like a random name?
There was like a British photographer that I really looked up to that went there, and he took like crazy photos. So I was like, okay, I wanna go there and like take more and actually live there, because he only traveled there. But I was like, if I live here, then I'll get like way more shots, you know.
Oh my god, what was life like?
Most of it's nomadic. So most of it is they're living in like yurts. It's like kind of like Mongolian tents.
Whoa.
And they live in like the mountains for most of the year. And then they still live very like rural, like they're still hunting for their food, still like killing like the goat with like the knife.
Seriously? Wow.
Like still like milking they don't milk cows, they milk horses.
What? They drink horse milk?
Yeah, they drink horse milk and it's called kummus. And it's alcoholic too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you had the full experience like living with them?
Yeah, and I would like ride horses and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Random. Like when I look back at it now, after living in Thailand for 2 years, I'm like, what was I doing? It's so random, you know?
Yeah. So what about you like called you to adventure, you know? Like have you always wanted to travel or was it like something you just like, why?
I think I'm naturally curious. Like even off camera, I'm always asking questions. And like at night, I'm always on like Reddit. Like, why does this mean this? Why do people do this? I'm like always asking questions. So that led me to like travel for the first time. When I was like 18, I went to China for the first time. And that was like crazy for me as like someone who's like ethnically Chinese. And I learned so much about my culture. It's like, imagine if I could do this like in all parts of the world and like learn different parts of the culture. And that's what led me to like being a travel addict.
Wow, that's so crazy.
But it's like the same with you, right? Because you lived in like America, New Zealand, and also Thailand.
Yeah.
I guess,
I mostly lived there like for like education purposes. When I was in New Zealand, maybe I think our school experiences there are probably similar, like UK and New Zealand, but America is definitely its own world. But I wanted to ask you, like, while you're traveling and being nomadic and living in these different countries, like, of course you had to be able to fund your travels. So how did you manage that, like financially? What were you doing?
So I was running like a e-com business for about 5 to 6 years.
Okay, what exactly were you doing?
So it's quite random, but I was selling like stickers.
Stickers, like actual, like just stickers you put on stuff.
Yeah, literally just like anime stickers. And the way I come about that is because I used to like sell stuff online. Anything I can get my hands off.
Like back in the UK?
Yeah, because my parents would never give me money. So I'm like, I always try and sell something. And my sister saw it and she was like, oh, can I use your account to like make my own shop? And she was like big in like arts and crafts. So she would sell like, you know, things she made. And one thing she sold was stickers. And one day I woke up with like tons of emails, like 20, 30 emails. It's like, you sold this. And it was like so many. And she was like, I was like, what the heck? And then I was like, it's not my stuff. So I asked my sister like, hey, is this yours? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, I didn't know you're making this much money.
Whoa!
And I was like, how about we actually like make it into like a proper business and find like a factory in China and like make it into like a real thing.
Wow.
And that's how it started actually.
Wow, that's insane. So you were kind of like the business brain and your sister was like the creative, the artist.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you figure out to like, you know, contact the distributor in China? Like, why do you have that like entrepreneurial spirit in you?
I already contacted like factories before in the UK, but it would never like be successful because I think people are already selling that kind of stuff. But because like what my sister was doing was very unique, like actually making the designs and like finding like unique like cartoons and stuff, I think it made it like a unique selling point, you know? Yeah, because I tried like many products before, but it didn't work. But this was the only one that would actually like succeed.
Wow, that's so interesting. So basically after you set up this business, it just kind of like ran itself. So while you were traveling, like did you have to, you know, keep checking up on it and keep working on it a lot?
The first year I would do everything myself, you know, like talk to customers, pack orders, go to the post office.
Wow.
Even like pay the delivery. And then after a year and I found like the system, I found like a good friend of mine that would help me do it. And I just, give her like 1% of the business.
Oh,
and
that's
then I was
cool.
like, okay, I'm out of here. Let me travel now.
Oh, that's actually the dream. So you kind of had this business running since in like your early 20s.
Yeah, when I was like 21.
Wow. So by 21, you were already like financially independent, basically.
Yeah.
So that's what allowed you to travel.
I guess it's similar to people that like work a usual job, but I had location freedom, meaning that I could like work anywhere I want, and that's something that I always wanted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, other than Kyrgyzstan, what other crazy countries or stories do you have?
I really liked China because growing up in the UK, I never really got to explore like my own culture apart from at home where I can, eat Chinese food. But apart from my parents, I never really had Chinese friends. And going to China and seeing like where I could have been born potentially, and like my parents' background was like so eye-opening. And do you know couch surfing?
Couch surfing.
It's an app.
It's an app?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I know the verb couch surfing, but I didn't know it was an app.
So you know Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
Couch surfing is pretty much Airbnb, but it's free, and you get to stay at the couch at the host's home whilst they are there. So I used that to travel to like pretty much all the big provinces and cities in China. Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, and there's no charge for it. It's free.
So you got to basically live in like interesting people's homes. Like, did you talk to them and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I would like live in their home and like hang out with them.
Whoa!
Yeah.
And you're into that kind of stuff?
I mean, I did that for like the 5-6 years of traveling.
Ah, wow.
Yeah, and that was really insightful because I got to like learn about how Chinese people would live firsthand and like go through like the motions of how they would live, how they would eat, how they would work, and like where they would go to hang out. Because when you like travel in like a hostel or hotel, I would say it's surface level because you're not really like getting deep into someone's like real life. But when you're like in someone's home and like living like the way they live, it's really different.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know if that's a thing in Thailand, couch surfing?
When I first came here, I tried to do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I didn't manage to get anyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, so you're actually like very comfortable with meeting new people and stuff. Have you always been like this?
So when I first started doing it, like my first ever time, I was like really scared. And I was like, oh, maybe no, this is not a good idea. This is very weird.
Yeah.
But the first time I did it, it was a good experience, so I carried on doing it. And also I have a privilege of being a guy.
Yeah.
So it's
Safety.
safer for me than a woman. Yeah.
For sure. Wow, so after being everywhere, how did you end up in Thailand? And what about Thailand that you were like, oh, I choose this place to settle down?
So after like so many years of traveling, I got kind of burnt out and sick of doing it because I was just by myself. And like when you're alone and you've gone through the motion of traveling to like so many different places, it becomes like the same.
Interesting. So at one point it was like the dream for you, but now that you live it, it starts to feel like just the same.
And like when the spark went, I didn't want it to be like, I didn't want to have like the spark go away. Like, I still wanted that love for travel. And like, okay, I don't want to hate it, so I'm going to like stop and like try and like find somewhere more like, somewhere where I can find my home.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I travel by myself, I would always meet new people and it would always be the same question like, oh, where are you from? How long are you here for? And like you would make these like good connections, but after like 1 month, 2 months of staying there, you have to leave and you have to start like the new connection again. I was like, oh, I don't want to do this.
It gets tiring?
Yeah, I want to have like a real connection, like have a routine, like eat well, like have a home that I can go to. So I was like, okay. So I plan to actually move to the Philippines.
Philippines?
Yeah.
Why the Philippines?
I saw the people friendly and the beaches were nice. I was like, okay, let's go there.
That's literally Thailand.
So I booked a one-way ticket from London to Philippines actually, but the flight was cheaper to go to Bangkok first. So I went to Bangkok first for 3 days. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna eat all the good Thai food and then be on my way.
Yeah.
But actually something weird happened, which was one of my videos went viral.
Oh, what video was it?
It was me traveling from London to Thailand, and it was just like a travel vlog.
like in the airport and stuff.
Yeah, literally.
And it went viral.
Yeah, it got like 400k views
What? Like in how many days? Like
in just like 1 or 2 days.
wow. Okay.
And like hundreds of comments saying, "Welcome to Thailand." And like that's never happened to me before. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep carrying on making videos. And then after that, the rest is history.
Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah, Thai people, I think we really love welcoming people, welcoming foreigners, and we love when foreigners like try to get involved and learn about the culture too. And yeah, you've been here for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to learn Thai at all?
Yeah. I try and learn every day.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
So พูดได้นิดหน่อยหรือว่าพูดได้โอเคไหม
ก็พูดได้ครับ
ว้าว
ถ้าแบบไปแบบมหาลัยแล้วก็เรียนแบบอังกฤษรู้แบบเรียนมัธยมแบบนี้ก็คิดว่าไม่ได้นะแต่ถ้าแบบใช้ชีวิตที่เมืองไทยคิดว่าโอเคไปแบบตลาดหรือเสิร์ฟอาหารไปช้อปปิ้งอะไรอย่างเงี้ยก็โอเค
แต่ออกเสียงดีมาก Wow so how was it in the beginning learning Thai was it super intimidating I feel like it's a hard language to get into right
Yeah I'm not gonna learn this language too hard
You're very good though.
I would try but I'm like it's so different to like English Yeah and even Chinese too
Because you speak Chinese before
Yeah
like Mandarin and Cantonese
Yeah
okay
I was like it's so hard and it's like I've never heard these like sounds before
like what sounds
I don't know it's just like the way Thai people speak is just very different yeah to anything I known before but over time like after a month you pick up likeอร่อยหิวห้องนอน or something like that you know and you kind of pick up these words and then like with these words you can like make sentences slowly because the more you use it the more your brain like remembers it
for sure
and that's kind of how I learned along with like my school
and I feel like once you get over like the beginning really hard part of like the words and the stuff I feel like the grammar and the sentence structure is not that hard right or is it quite hard for you tell me
honestly I would say it's hard at the start but the thing with language is you just have to be like consistent with it and like use it every day and that's how you learn
ว้าวแล้วตอนนี้แบบเรียนทุกวันไหม
ใช่ครับ
เรียนทุกวันเลยเหรอ
ใช่ตอนเช้าก็เรียนครับ
ตอนเช้าก็เรียน
ใช่1 ชั่วโมง
ว้าวเรียนแบบยังไงเป็นคลาสหรือเป็นแบบ1 ต่อ 1
ก็มีแบบครูสอนแบบคุยเฉยๆครับ
โอ้แบบคุยสนทนาอย่างเดียว
ใช่ถ้าเป็นแบบมี structure ผมน่าจะไม่ได้เพราะว่าผมมี ADHD ครับ
สมาธิสั้น
ใช่คิดว่าน่าเบื่อแต่ถ้าแบบคุยแบบเหมือนเพื่อนก็โอเคนะใช่แบบคุยเล่นมวยกินอะไรชอบดูหนังอะไรแบบนี้ก็โอเคครับ
so it doesn't feel like you're like studying it like
yeah it's like a friend แล้วก็แบบถ้าไม่รู้จักแบบคำศัพท์ก็ทำได้and then like I'll just write it down so what does this mean and then okay and then just start speaking again
wow so in your Thai journey now what's like your next step like what's the next thing that you're trying to improve on
you know I just see it as like a marathon not a sprint because with like language learning it takes like years to become fluent
for sure
so I just want to get like a little bit better every day and then hopefully one day I don't have to take class anymoreเพราะว่าแพงนะ
แพงเลย
if I have to pay the teacher every day you know
for sure
so I want to like get good and stop paying
but you think like if you don't have a teacher would you still be able to go out of your way to try to talk every day or it'd be harder right
yeah I mean I try and use like my environment like living in Thailand going to the markets and speaking to my Thai friends in Thai but also having a Thai person like one-on-one to give me that full attention and it's really important too like I tell my followers that it's important to like use it every day because if you just like read a book it's you can't get that far you have to actually like speak it
จริง wow so let's reel it back a bit before Thailand and before your traveling era you kind of just grew up in England
Yeah.
Right? And
You can't tell?
It's interesting. I think your accent is like some words you pronounce it very British,
Yeah.
but some words are neutral. So you have like an international accent. Have people ever commented on that?
Yeah, they think I'm either Australian or they think I'm like Luk Klung, like Thai, Chinese, and grew up in like international school. I see that.
Yeah. The kids, like even Thai kids that go to like British international schools, they speak with an accent like you.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell me about it. How was it growing up in England, and like what city were you in? Like what was it like?
So I was born in Canterbury, Kent. It's like southeast UK, predominantly white. I was like probably like the only Chinese kid in my school growing up.
Really?
Yeah, through like kindergarten all the way to like secondary school.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very
What was that like?
interesting, I would say. It's like good and bad. Yeah, I would say like good because like being the only like Asian kid, like I learned to be like very like strong and independent.
For sure.
And also it's very good to like grow up in the like Western country because I got taught to be very like expressive and also yeah, just like have my own opinion and like voice like what I want to say. But also bad as in like there's a lot of like hardship being like an Asian in like a predominantly white area, like had to face like a lot of like bullying and like stereotypes and I'd always fight.
Yeah.
Like, because me and my brother were like the only Chinese in the school.
Wow.
We always fight, you know? Yeah.
I get that though. It's kind of like you have to like prove yourself, right?
Yeah. And I don't want to fight, but sometimes you have to throw hands, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So a lot of fighting and like even like going to like football practice, I like walk by myself and people would shout like weird like Chinese like racism, like you know, like fried rice or something.
Wow.
And like as a kid growing up who was very shy, it like really affected me because, you know, I was like so insecure and like when people shout that and I didn't do anything wrong, I'm like what did I do, you know? And I grew up with like a lot of like insecurities and not wanting to like really like embrace my culture.
Oh.
Yeah, like when I was young, I wanted to be white.
That's very understandable for sure, because I totally relate. When I first moved from like end of primary school to secondary school, I went to New Zealand, and I think the experiences are similar there. It was predominantly white. I did face a lot of like racism, and yeah, it definitely feel like I had to like play rugby or like, you know, sometimes get in fights to prove to people not to like mess with me, right? And but the nice thing in those cultures is that you fight and then it's over, right? And then it's done, and then you don't have to worry about it again.
That's true. Like after you fight, you become friends.
Yeah.
You become best friends. Yeah.
But definitely like the classroom thing is true. Like when I was in Thailand, kids would be scared to like answer or ask questions, but immediately when I went to New Zealand, like everyone tried to answer even if it was wrong. So yeah, so there are definitely some good and bad in growing up in a Western culture. But yeah, so do you feel like you were in touch much with your Chinese side, like growing up?
In the UK, I don't feel like 100% British because, you know, look at me. I have like Asian features. But so I would say like I look Asian, but I don't feel that British, you know? But when I go to Asia, I don't feel that Asian. I feel quite like mixed, you know, like quite Western. So to answer that, like it depends, you know. Yeah, it like I would say like it depends where. Yeah, yeah.
So actually, like before you got into your e-commerce, like what were you doing before and what did you study?
So like I was working since I was like 14 actually.
Really?
Yeah, first was free labor for my dad at his Chinese restaurant. He used me.
So you used to work in like your parents' restaurants?
Yeah, he said, I born you, so you have to work for me. So I used to work as like a waiter for him.
Oh, but you didn't get paid?
No. Oh, I got paid for free housing and free food. And then when I turned 16, I'm like, okay, I have to make like some money, right? So I worked in like a call center.
Oh,
like,
really?
Cold calling people.
Actually?
But I only lasted like 2 weeks.
How was that experience?
It was like, it was so boring, you know, you're sitting there for like 4 to 8 hours, like reading the script. A cold calling, when you get cold call, what do you usually do?
Most of the time you just hang up.
Right, and I got like people telling me like, you know, really bad things.
Really? Like
and
they
I'm
got
like,
mad?
Yeah, because I'm like trying to sell them something. And I was 16.
Did you ever sell anything?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Fire,
I got the
fire.
Chinese in me. And then I worked in like a supermarket called Sainsbury's.
Whoa.
Yeah, I worked in, what else did I work? Adidas and Reebok.
Oh, like in the store?
Yeah.
Oh, so did you get like a employee discount and stuff?
Yeah, it's really good actually. 47%.
Really?
So my pay was only like £5. No, it was actually like £6.31, which is about like 300 baht an hour, which is, for Thai, it's good, but in the UK you can't get anything because it's so expensive there. So like the way I made my money was not through working there, it was like having the staff discount and buying the shoes at like 47% off.
And then reselling
and
them?
then selling it to my friends. Yeah, and I was like, okay, this is how I'm gonna make my money.
Hey, that's actually a good hustle.
Yeah, and then I would like resell stuff to my friends at school and on eBay too.
So you're like the shoe plug?
Yeah. And well, my close friends, they'll get it for free.
Oh, wait, that's so cool. Wait, do a lot of people do that actually?
Not a lot, but it's common. Yeah, it's common. If you want to make like side money.
Okay. So what did you end up studying in college?
So when I got to 18, I decided that I don't really want to go to university, but I have to go because of my parents. So the only thing I liked doing was like social science, like learning about like psychology of people, you know, like why people like do certain things, I don't know, why people like live in this area, like how do they like live in these certain cultures. So I decided to study like social science. So it's like a mix between like sociology, psychology and criminology.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a 4-year program with a year in Hong Kong actually.
Oh, so how was that year in Hong Kong for you?
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, there was like
Was that really your first time like living outside of the UK?
properly for like a 1-year duration. Yeah, and there was like exchange students from like 37 different countries.
Wow.
And then, yeah, it was like so fun because it was like so many different cultures like mingling like whilst enjoying Hong Kong.
Is that what sparked you to go on your traveling thing too?
I was traveling like a bit before that.
Oh, you were already traveling during that. Okay, sick. And then like what other kind of jobs did you like intern or do anything cool like related to media before you got into your content?
So funny thing is like I knew the moment I did my internship that like the office life wasn't for me.
Oh.
Because I always thought that was the route to go until I started doing internships. So my first internship was in like Malaysia. Because I knew I didn't want to be in the UK, so I was like, okay, let me try like Kuala Lumpur, and maybe I can like after my internship I can stay there. And the internship was about like business development, but like the worst thing ever. Like I hated it, you know. And after like a month I quit, and then the boss was like really disappointed in me. But I'm like I can't do it.
So you just didn't like corporate?
Yeah, well, I tried the second time and it was like in Shanghai and it was also for like a similar thing, but again, I didn't like it. And I was like, all right, there's like a common pattern. It's just, I think my personality doesn't suit like working in this environment because I can't sit still. I have to do something like myself. Yeah, which led me to do like my own thing. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know what I would be doing actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what actually like inspired you to make your own content?
So I was working for like a big YouTuber at the time called Uncle Roger. He's still big now.
Yeah, he's
still
massive.
big. I think he has like 10 million
He's
followers.
massive.
Yeah.
Well, so you actually used to like, what did you do for him? Like edit?
So I used to like produce all his videos, like edit, direct, you know, like script sometimes.
Like you were there with him?
Yeah, I would go to his
Wow.
house like at least like once a week. Yeah, and he like worked me hard.
How was that?
It was really good. I learned so much, you know, like about like the business side of like content creation and also like how to edit properly because he's very strict on me like how to edit properly and like the certain techniques and stuff. Yeah, so I became like very technical from him.
Wow, so you learned a lot from him.
Yeah, so I'm really grateful to actually Uncle Roger.
That's epic. He's your mentor.
Yeah.
Imagine saying your mentor is Uncle Roger.
He actually like commented on my story the other day. He's like, I'm so like proud of you because he knew like I didn't want to work with him for that long. He knew that it was like a stepping stone to like do my own thing one day, and he's like, yeah, like so happy to see what you're doing right now.
Oh, that's so nice.
So it's cool that it came like full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah,
for sure.
But he inspired me a lot because he worked corporate before. He's like really smart. He worked like in like a bank before, and he went to like a top Ivy League in America.
Wow.
And his passion was like always comedy. And then like one day like Uncle Roger went viral, and then now he's like living his best life.
Wow, that's so cool. So in a way, like he inspired you to go on and create your own content and stuff.
Yeah.
Your own brand. Wow, what are some things that you've learned from him other than like technical stuff?
That you have to have like a plan and a structure. You can't just say, okay, one day I want to be like a content creator. You have to think like long term. I mean, you can be a content creator, but to be like one that is successful and in it for the long game, you have to really be like calculative and think about the future. You know, like how many pieces of content are you going to schedule per week? Like, what is the direction you want to go to? Like, how can I monetize this piece of content? You know,
interesting.
Because I would say there's a lot of like content creators that aren't like monetizing as well because they're not thinking about like the back
business
end
side.
And I learned a lot from that with like Uncle Roger, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually sick. So getting into your content, like you do a lot of meeting like interesting people in Bangkok. So like how do you get to meet all of these people? Do you just hit them up on IG? Like how did they come to meet you?
So my style of content is like mainly like interviews for now.
Yeah.
So like interview people and at the start of doing it, I was just doing it on the streets, like standing in like Siam.
Like random people?
Yeah, for like the whole day, like 8 hours, just like with my microphone. Like,
how was that? Like how did people react to you like speaking English in the first in Siam?
It's hard because actually Thai people are quite like like shy, right?
To speak English.
Yeah. So and also they're like kind of afraid to be in front of like a professional camera, right?
Oh, you had like a full setup before?
The mic as well. And like, I don't want to share my opinion, you know. So you have to like stay there for like a long time and try and. It's like a numbers game. You have to keep asking so many people, but over time you get a few, yeah. And then, because the videos did well on social media, like a lot of like the big people like on social media, they wanted me to interview them.
Oh.
Yeah. Because they also get a lot of benefits too.
Yeah,
they
like
get a lot of promotion. Yeah. So
that style of content is still very much popular now, like the Siam interviews.
I think everyone's
still doing it. Well, maybe you were like you were earlier than the explosion of it now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I started like I would say for the English side, I think I was the first to start.
One of the first,
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow. So now you have like people like Joyce and Paul, and you guys are all like friends, right? Because you guys are all like similar experience, like a foreigner that moved to Bangkok to make content.
Yeah, you know, like in a workplace, you have your colleagues, right?
Sure.
I kind of see them as like my colleagues.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though you're all doing your own thing.
Yeah, because like we're doing the same thing, right? And it's quite a lonely journey if you don't have like a group of friends like to share ideas or talk about it.
For sure.
So we're all in like a big group and we talk about it, you know.
Wow.
Like talk about how is it working with this brand or like how is it like doing this type of content, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you guys call yourselves like expats or nah?
I'm not sure about them, but for me I just
Do you consider
I
yourself?
consider myself like a foreigner. Yeah.
And how important is having this community for you? Like, do you think if you didn't have it, it would be different?
I think it's good because it helps like everything, you know. It helps me with like if I should work with like a certain brand or not, or like if it is easy to like I don't know, for example, like shoot in this area because some areas have like strict guidelines about like if I can bring cameras or not. It just it's just easy, you know.
Wow, so you guys are all very like helping of each other.
Yeah, I think that's the way it should be, you know.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
You do like some house tours, some really fun house tours that I've seen too. What are some favorite places or like favorite memories that you've done like since you've started your content journey here in Bangkok?
Actually, I really like them all.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I'm curious about how people live, you know. And it's exciting for me because I get to visit all like the housing projects in Thailand. Yeah, and for me it's really great because I know which places to live at. Yeah. Because each time like I do a house tour, I get to go inside their room and like you know, like see the layout, see what they like and dislike, and a lot of the time the foreigners live in like the luxury buildings.
Yeah.
And the local Thai people usually they live in like way bigger buildings but older. And from that, I think I prefer like the older, bigger buildings.
Really? How come?
Because the luxury buildings, it looks good for like the start. Like it's got the nice sauna, jacuzzi, rooftop.
All the amenities.
Yeah, it looks nice, but the room is very small. It's like 30 square meters.
True.
And if you're here for like many years, it's like...
Oh, so you prefer like a bigger room.
And like when you're in like an old Thai apartment, it's like huge and you get to like have your space, you know. So for example, like one of my Thai friends, he lives in like a 300 square meter apartment in like Asok, and he's only paying like 32k.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
But like a luxury condo in like the city center is around that price too.
For
But
like
it's
a
only
tiny
like
room.
28, 30 square meters. And I
yeah.
think long term, I'll rather live in the big space.
Interesting. So like from making this content, you're getting like your own insight to like where to live too.
Yeah.
That's super sick. And I wanted to ask you like for myself and also maybe for other people that feel like, you know, like I want to make content, I want to do content, but I don't know how to start. Like what kind of tips would you give to me or to these kind of people?
If I was talking to you right now, I'd just say like, if you have an iPhone or like if you have a smartphone, you're already like halfway there. The next step is just record.
I think it's because like it's overwhelming because there's so many contents and you're thinking so much about what's gonna go viral, what's not. Like what tips could you give for that?
Just start, because if you overthink it, you're gonna be frozen, right? You're not gonna take the initial step. Oh, is the lighting good? Am I using the right camera? Is this already been said? I would just say do it, and then you'll figure it out yourself. Because I think when most content creators start, they don't know what they're doing, but they figure it out over time. But if you're too perfectionist about it, it's so hard to make progress because the way you post is way slower than if you don't really focus that much. You know?
True. And have you noticed like a pattern with your videos that have been super successful or viral, anything like that, or is it just random?
Yeah, I would say like I always go for like concepts that are very either polarizing or have not been like spoke about before, or a fresh perspective. So for example, what's it like being a black person in Thailand? Like usually in like a real life setting, you won't go to a black person and say, what's it like being black in Thailand, right?
But everyone wants to know that.
Yeah, but everyone wants to hear like that perspective. And I kind of want to bring like real honest opinions to the social media in Thailand, yeah.
Wow, that's so nice. And do you see yourself continuing this kind of content, like interviewing and talking to people, or do you want to eventually branch out to other stuff?
I want to do more Thai content, actually.
Like speaking Thai?
Yeah, speaking Thai and like living my life in Thailand. Yeah.
Like focus just on your life, like kind of like travel vlogs, something like that?
Yeah, and also like the boring stuff, you know? Because most of
What do you
my...
mean boring stuff?
I mean like most of my time, my life is kind of boring, you know? Like,
even nowadays?
Yeah, like I go gym, I edit, I, you know, eat food. Most of the time it's boring, you know, and I don't want to like, I want to keep it real too, you know, like yeah, I'm like normal as well.
I'm sure things that you think are boring, people will find like fascinating, right? You said like people come to ask you like where you eat your kaman kai, where you work, stuff like that, for sure. And yeah, I just wanted to end this on my last question for you, which is, what do you dream of? Like, what do you think of in the future for yourself, for Thailand, for anything?
Actually, I wanted to do what I'm doing for so long. Yeah, like to make content and like do this for like a living. I think like if I would look at my younger self, I would already achieve my dream, and it's something that is like so cool. Like I'm so happy to like do this every day. Like it doesn't really feel like work to me. So I'm like really grateful for that, and also like really privileged to be in like the position I'm in. For like the future, I do want to like give back somehow. I've always like been big into like education and like doing something with education. So if I could like open a school one day,
Here?
yeah, that would be really cool. And like as a foreigner, I'm not sure like the process, but like it's something that I want to work towards.
Like English school?
More towards like real world skills.
Ooh.
Yeah, like critical thinking.
How to do taxes?
Yeah, maybe more like public speaking. Like
true.
Soft skills that you can
For
use.
real, that's so important.
Because I think skills that you can actually apply in the real world, you know, and also like open up like the minds of like, or just open up different perspectives, you know, because I think school is not just about like maths, English, science. It's like more on like, you know, like interning at like different places, trying out new things. So yeah, that's a cool dream I have.
For sure.
Yeah.